over the years of working on the Galapagos Islands, we just found out that they just finished the Darwin Interpretation Center. Spain spent $300,000 to build a Darwin Center to promote evolution. And my disciple that lives on the Galapagos Islands that's building the church, he got to be friends with the curator of this brand new facility. I came to visit, and my disciple talked to the curator and said, "Why don't you bring your pastor to see the brand new facility? I'll give him a personal tour." I said, "Why not?" Went to the facility, took us through all the rooms of all of Darwinism and evolution, and we got to this one outdoor amphitheater that could seat about 100 people. Had a brand new stage, had seating for those people, lighting, everything you needed to have it could be a great church, I was thinking. When out of the mouth of the curator, he talked to my disciple and he said, "Hey, you do stuff with teenagers. Why don't you use this facility one time to do do something for the teens?" My eyes just lit up and my thoughts started. I said, I don't think I want to do something for teens. I want to do something else. I want to have the very first Christian concert at the Darwin Center on the Galapagos Islands. I thought, if we're gonna start messing with the enemy, we might as well do it on his turf in a mighty way. So I started praying about doing a concert. And after about a year, we had a group that came from Tennessee, from Chattanooga. They had about 30 people that were in a band, full instruments, voices, and they were coming to be with us on the Galapagos Islands. Well, they were supposed to fly to Quito from Chattanooga, fly to Quito, and then the next day fly out to the Galapagos. And there wasn't flights every day. There was flights like once a week. We got a phone call from Chattanooga, from this group of people. They said, "We got as far as Atlanta." And the airlines, and I'm not going to mention the airlines that did this, the airline left all 30 of us sitting in the airport, left all of our equipment, and they had over 1,000 pounds of equipment. Well, there's no problem getting a flight for the next day, but that meant all the ministry, all the concert that we were going to do on that Galapagos Islands couldn't happen because there was no other flights to the Galapagos. Again, we had some stress in our lives, and we began to pray and asking the Holy Spirit, saying, "Holy Spirit, we know that you want to do something on the Galapagos Islands. This is a mighty work." You know, the enemy was a little bit upset with us, and he tried to thwart what God was doing. We prayed. I told the disciple on the Galapagos, "Have your church begin to pray." And about a few hours later, the disciple called me and said, "Listen, I had all our people in the church praying, and one of the women said, 'Hey, I work with an airlines. If they can get here tomorrow, we have an empty plane coming from Quito to the Galapagos Islands, and we'll bring them for free with all their equipment the next day.'" I tell you what, God is mighty. There's nothing that takes him by surprise. He can do mighty things if you believe him, if you walk in his spirit, if you trust him. That group came the next day. We took them to the Galapagos Islands. We had everything ready, this open air amphitheater. It was about 100 people from the island that came to listen to this concert. We pulled back the curtains and they began to worship God at the roots of Darwinism on the Galapagos Islands at the Darwin Center. As we began to worship and pray, what do you think took place? It began to rain. Now, raining when you have inside is not a bad thing, but when everybody's sitting outside, you think, "Oh, great, it's going to rain on them, they're all going to leave." Well, they didn't leave. They sat there in the rain and listened to us worship the King of Kings, and some of them got saved that night because we dared to do something bold for the Lord. As soon as I heard the first note being played at that center, I just thought, "Father, if this was for nobody else, if nobody else came, this concert is for you to bless your name at the roots of Darwinism." We had a blessed time that night. The next day we got up and I asked the team, "Do you want to go on a tour?" We took them on a tour. They said, "Sure, let's go to see the Galapagos," and which is tortoise in Spanish. The Galapagos, there was a place that they had about 100 tortoises running around. We ran out there and we talked to the evolutionists. He was all excited. I said, "Why are you so excited about today? What's special?" He said, "We just had our first tortoise born in the wild. That hasn't happened for years." I said, "How exciting to have a tortoise born in the wild. What'd you name your tortoise?" And he said, "Genesis." I said, "Come again? What'd you name your tortoise?" "Genesis." I thought, great name for your tortoise, because God is about to do a new beginning here on the Galapagos Islands.